Hello and welcome to this next tutorial. So this time we're going to add some collision detection to our code. Now before we do that, it's worth understanding a little bit about how objects are drawn to the screen so we can visualize what we're going to do more easily. So basically I've labelled up our two items. We got our player square here and our sort of little truck representation rectangle here. So this top left hand corner is x0, y0 of our little player character, and this would be x10 and y10 up here. Now down here you've obviously got x plus the width of the square, which is 20 in this case. The y coordinate is the same, so it'll be y0. Down here we've got x will be 0 because it's same x position as the top of the square there, but now the y is plus 20 because that's the length of our square, and then over here bottom right is x plus 20 and y plus 20, and very similar logic on here. So x10, y10, x1 plus 20 because we've moved along on the x-axis, y1 is still 0, and then the same for the other corners following the same logic. So when we check a collision, we want to check if we're moving to the right that x plus 20, is it greater than x1? Now if it is, we've got a collision here. But we also want to check, has the x position of this moved off the other side? So we want to check, is this x position still less than x1 plus 20, because that means we're checking, has this collided here, and has this edge, is this edge still within the square, within the rectangle? So that will handle the sort of x collisions, if you like. We also then need to have a think about the y collisions. So we need to check, is the y-axis greater than y1, and if it is, then we've got an intersect. And also, is y less than y1 plus 60, so is this edge somewhere between these 2 points? So that's great, but we also need to check against the bottom of our player square. So we need to say, is y plus 20 greater than y1? So is it somewhere greater than this? And is y plus 20 less than y1 plus 60? So that'll check, is this edge somewhere in here? And that's the basic logic. We're just trying to think about all the possibilities of, are any of these four corners overlapping any of the four corners here? Is it anywhere within this rectangle? Now, if we cover that correctly in our code, we'll have collision detection that will work nicely. So we'll have another look at that in code. Here it is. So we're checking here in an if statement, first for the x-axis, do we have a collision on the x-axis on any of the corners, the sort of far left and the far right of our little rectangle? And then we check the y as well, is the top or the bottom of our square overlapping, any of the top or bottom of the rectangle. Now, if it is, at the moment, we're just going to end the game. We're going to say, right, you've crashed, game over. So by setting running equal to false, we break out of the main game loop and Pygame quits. So it's game over. In a future tutorial, we'll have a look at how to go a little bit further than that, and perhaps minus a life off and reset the game. But for now, that is the collision detection for doing this. So let's just see that running so we can see our game working. And here we go. So we've got a little player character, we can move across the screen, but now if I collide from the left, it ends our game, which is what we'd expect at the moment. If we collide from the right, we can do the same. So just get him going. Boom, game ends. So we've now got collision detection detecting from the right, from the left, from the top, from the bottom. So our game will end effectively. So it's starting again to take on a bit more complexity, making the game more interesting to play. So next time we'll have a look at how to, for example, lose a life and then reset the game. We'll have a look at restarting the game, and we'll start to add things like a score, writing text to the screen, again to sort of add levels of complexity to our game. And we'll have a look in future tutorials as well about how to add images so it starts to look graphically more pleasing. Thanks for listening today, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.